Hi everyone and welcome to the Fishhead Creations podcast, where I pull out one of my interesting knitting projects all the time and talk you through the details. My name is Anna and this is Loki, and you can find me on Instagram as Caledoniana and on Ravelry as Obsti, and you can also find my designs on Ravelry, and I will link all of those places below, as well as to the Fishhead Creations Ravelry group, which I usually mainly use for test knits of my designs, of which there hasn't been any recently because, I don't know, the only ones I have to test knit are sweater designs which I have to write down, and then otherwise I've just been enjoying knitting other people's patterns. Yeah. So, but there will be any future test knits in my group, and there is a podcast Ask Me Anything thread. So if there are any questions, please feel free to comment below or contact me on Instagram or ask in the group. Please excuse as always all my sniffling. My allergies have calmed down, but I still have quite a stuffed nose as soon as I'm inside. So yeah. I hope you are not shaken around because there's a little black cat behind the camera being nasty and stealing my stuff. So yeah, it's still incredibly dark. It's November after all. It's my usual podcasting time, 20 minutes to 3 in the afternoon, and it's dark. It hasn't ever not been dark today. Okay, can you please, okay, come on. So yeah, but I have been informed that you could decently well see what I was showing last time, so we will go with this, because I just don't have any other lights. I'll try to sit closer to the window next time, but really, I don't know how. There's no room. We'll make do. So, today's project is actually a sweater I didn't knit for myself, but was commissioned to knit by a friend, and it will be picked up and delivered to her later this week, so today is my only chance to podcast about it. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen it. This is Vaga by Linda Marving. Yeah. Cably goodness. It drove me absolutely mad, and I almost lost my mojo over this. Loki, es reicht! Mutter! Lass meine Sachen da liegen! Sorry. Yeah. This sweater almost cost me all my knitting mojo because I couldn't see cables anymore after maybe half of the back. Yeah. It took me a long while. Although I absolutely love this color. This is Garnet Heather in Knit Picks Swish Decay. I have no idea what the color number is, but Garnet Heather. It's one of their wonderful deep dark heathered colors. It's a perfect wine red. Perfect color. I love it. I didn't like the Swish Decay as much. It's a superwash yarn. It's very slippery. I was really struggling with it and with holding my tension with this yarn because it was always slipping through my hands. I was cramping up as I was holding it just to make sure it stayed tensioned. So while I think it looks lovely and it's wonderfully soft, I wasn't too happy knitting with it. Yeah, so what else? So this whole design is knit in pieces and seamed. It has a set-in saddle shoulder, sleeve. Yeah, what else? What did I do? I started with the back piece, as you do. It's knit from the bottom up, so I started with a whole ton of twisted rib. If you know me at all, I do not enjoy twisted rib. I enjoy it even less flat because it involves a lot of twisted pearls. Not my favorite thing to do, but I pushed through it. I pushed through all the cables up to the top. Same thing for the front. There's one thing I would do differently if I knit it again. As soon as you start the neckline shaping, so at the back you just knit up to a straight line because that's where the saddle is attached later. but for the front to slightly lower the neckline, you stop slightly before that and knit both shoulders separately, and the pattern tells you to stop cabling in this panel. And I wish I had continued the cabling, because I don't think it looks that nice to have just this mini stockinette panel up here when the whole garment otherwise is textured and cabled. So yeah, that's one thing I would do differently. I would continue the cables at the neckline, but I think it will be fine. Usually it won't be looking at the shoulders that much, and there will be hair over it or a shawl or scarf. So, oh, by the way, if you hear any strange noises in the background, Loki has decided he needs to use his litter box right now. Blame the cat. Always blame the cat. It's always a good idea. Also, blame the cats for all the hair on this, because it's not mine. I don't have white hair. That was her. All your fault. So whatever. Other than that, I am quite happy with this. The sleeves went a lot faster. So what took me the longest, I think, is the front. The sleeves went a lot faster. They only have this one cable panel, which is the same as the one on the sides here, on the front and back, this one. And it's mirrored, so you have, yeah, this mirrored cable panel running up the sleeve, and the rest is, I would call it moss stitch. It's knit one, purl one for one row, then knit the knits and purl the pearls for the other row, and then you change it around. So you're doing the same thing for 2 rows, and then it's offset. I know it is moss stitch. I have heard people call other things moss stitch, but I think that's one version everyone agrees is called moss stitch, whatever they call the other version, where you change on every row. Whatever. It's my favorite texture panel or pattern to have around cables. I do love moss stitch. I think it looks so nice and neat and cozy, and it really feels good. Then, yeah, sleeves. They have a normal sleeve cap and then the small saddle. This is, I think, the first piece where I ever blocked the pieces separately. So after I had finished both sleeves, the front and the back, I washed them all, laid them out flat to dry, and pulled them out. I didn't pin them. I don't have any blocking mats and I don't have enough pins, but I pulled them out and laid them flat to dry. And you can still see it's very stretchy to the side because it's ribbing based cables. So yeah, it should fit well, although it looks terribly narrow. The recipient is a lot smaller than I am, but she's not a stick figure. But yeah, you can see how stretchy it is, so it should fit fine, and it's meant to be worn rather tight fitting. So it should be good. Then I mattress seamed all the sides, I mattress seamed the sleeves, I set in the sleeves, I sewed in the saddle, I then picked up stitches around the neckline, and again twisted rib. This whole thing isn't a proof of friendship, I don't know what is, because it drove me nuts. It drove me so completely nuts. But yeah, it's twisted one by one rib and then folded over and sewed down, so the neckline is double. And I didn't reblock this, I just left it as is. It will be reblocked once the sweater is worn and washed for the first time, so it should be fine. I have really started to enjoy mattress seaming. I think it looks so neat, and on the inside as well. I think the seam looks quite nice, and given that this is such a slippery, stretchy, superwash yarn, I think it's a really good idea to have it seamed, because otherwise it would just never stop growing and turn into a dress. It's already rather long, so yeah, I think it will do well with the seams. One thing I would like to mention about this pattern is I it's written row by row in some respects and by length in others. So the full length of the sleeves and the body are written in centimeters, but other things like the decrease rate and increase rate for the waist shaping, as well as the decrease rate for the sleeve cap, are written row by row, which for a sleeve cap you really can't do anything else, and there is a measurement given where you should be before you start the saddle, so that all worked out fine. It's a really well written pattern. There are some complicated setup rows, but I managed to do them all in the first try without messing up anything, so I can really recommend how Linda Marving writes patterns. That's one part I actually enjoyed a whole lot about this whole thing. So yeah, but what I was going to mention is, because everything is written in centimeters except for the waist shaping, it's incredibly low. If you look here, here is the underarm, and here is the waist, and then here is the hip increases. It's supposed to be quite long, but still it feels very low, this waist shaping. But I haven't seen it on the recipient, and I won't give it to her in person, so we shall see how it fits. I might be forced to knit her another one, or another sweater in general, if this one doesn't fit well. But yeah, this one is knit for the friend who ordered the Knit Picks yarn for me, but this isn't as well traveled, this yarn. Well, it didn't go to Scotland with me. It came to the UK and then came to Germany and then traveled across half of Germany with me, and now I will give it to another friend who takes it back to southern Germany again, and then it will go back to the UK at some point. So well traveled yarn, but it omitted the step of going to Scotland like my Garden Gate yarn did. On the other hand, my Garden Gate yarn will not go back to the UK. Hi Loki. Whatever. I'll hold it up one more time just so you can see it in its full glory, because I think it's beautiful. And I'm showing you the back all the time, so I'm sorry. Here it is, from the front. And there's the cat. Yeah. This is Vaga. It will be my last cable project for a while, because I'm so tired of cables. And also I knit this on straight needles, and it grew quite heavy after a while, which my wrists didn't really like very much. So while I do enjoy knitting things in pieces on straight needles instead of circular needles when I'm knitting flat, it is heavy. It's quite heavy because you're holding it up all the time, and if you push it too far to the outside of a straight needle, and they are 35 centimeters long, it's really hard on the wrists because you have to hold it up all the time from that far away. Yeah. My wrists don't like anything, so well, but yeah. I think for such a garment it would be better, in such heavyweight yarn, it would be better for me to use circulars, because it makes it easier to rest most of what I have already knitted on my lap while I'm knitting on it. But really, if I'm knitting flat, I actually prefer straight needles, so I should probably just knit straight and flat and fingering weight yarn, not any heavier. But that's how it goes. You never do what you should, do you? So yeah, it's another quite short episode, because for a change I'm knitting things to pattern. But yeah, after 2 things that I knit exactly to pattern, I promise you the next one will be a garment I threw the pattern out of the window after about 3 rows on a sleeve and did my completely own thing. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of modification going on in said sweater, which I should finish if I'm talking about showing it to you, but I'm halfway through the yoke, so I think it's doable. It's a bottom-up sweater and I'm halfway through the yoke in a week, so I should manage half a yoke in another week, I guess. I hope. Other than that, dry, and it's my favorite weather. Well, I could use a storm or two, and with all the pictures of snowy landscapes popping up on Instagram, I really miss snow. We haven't had any real snow in 7 years now, and I miss it. So if anyone within reasonable travel distance has real snow and would invite me over in winter, let me know. I'll see if I can make it possible. I just want to be anywhere where it's snowing. I might have to go to Scotland again in January. Yeah. But, snowy rambles aside, I will leave you at that and go finish my sweater for next week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!